Good evening. My name is Shannon Tischer, and I'm the principal at Southwest Junior High. I'm very excited that we all have the opportunity to hear our three bands perform this evening. These students work extremely hard throughout the school year. They go from one performance or band activity to another, always performing at a high level. The music we will all enjoy this evening is the culmination of their work from this entire school year. It is important to highlight the fact that these bands went to the Region Band Assessment during the first week of March, and the literature you will hear this evening has been worked up since then. However, to clarify, have they had 2 months to focus on this music? I would definitely say no. In the spring, students faced the challenges of interrupted practices due to spring break, increased student activities, and testing. But for the short amount of time they have had, I am confident that you will be impressed with what you hear this evening. At Southwest, we are very proud of all of our students who excel in the classroom, in the athletic arena, and on the activity stage. We are especially proud of our excellent music students in band and choir here in this state-of-the-arts performing center tonight. So please silence your phones, remain in your seats while each song is being performed, and enjoy what you hear this evening. I now present to you the Southwest Varsity Band.
Good evening. That, as you see in your program, is a piece entitled Power Up. And our next selection is called Pueblo, Land of the Ancient Peoples. And this is to depict a lot of Native American type music. And we try to expose the kids to as much stuff as we possibly can. And we hope you enjoy Pueblo. I think I'm a little taller than Mrs. Tischer is. I do hope that, sometimes we push the kids every day, we push the kids every day, we push the kids every day, and we sit back and we realize how quickly they have learned tonight's concert. I have a lot of friends and colleagues, when they take their bands to like concert assessment or contest, spring concert, guess what they play? They play the same music they've worked on in January and February and March. And we have a little bit different attitude of, we want to try to up the ante a little bit, make things maybe a little bit more challenging, and give them a whole other concert basically to prepare in very, very short time. And we're very proud of all three of these groups because, as I said, don't have near as much time as we would like, but sometimes there never is. But they've been pushing very, very hard all the way to the end. And the group sitting on stage did get excellent rating at our concert assessment. And the reason that is a big deal, if you look at the asboa.org website, all the regions around the state of Arkansas, you will see 3 ratings, 4 ratings, and I even saw a couple 5s. And I think a 5 means you might consider something other than band to take next year. And luckily, we don't have that issue here in Springdale. We're very fortunate in I call it the HAR-BER cluster of, Helstern, Tyson, Central, Southwest, leading on to hopefully to HAR-BER High School that, we're very blessed to have the band programs we have. There are 2 students in this group. Give me just a second here. That we would like to point out with a little extra to them. We are calling these the Director's Awards for the 8th grade and then one for 9th grade in each one of these groups. And these are people that are not only coming to class like they're supposed to, they're prepared, they're answering questions, they have their music worked up, they're great leaders, they're just great people all the way around. And this year in the Varsity Band, the Director's 8th grade award for the 8th grade goes to Meredith Guthrie. I think her mother's here. Was that her mom? Oh, okay. And a friend, okay, that's okay. Director's Award for the 9th grade in the Varsity Band goes to Mr. Caleb Osterman. Okay, if you don't recognize the name John Williams, you need to go to more movies. There's probably not a movie out there that you have seen once, twice, or 3 or 4 times, or maybe even more than that, either in the movie theater or on TV or on cable, that he hasn't had a hand in composing music for. This is called the John Williams Trilogy. So you're going to recognize, hopefully, some music from Jurassic Park. A little movie that some of you have seen and some of you haven't. Junior high kids, you need to be older to see it. It's something about the Holocaust during World War II, and you need to make sure you see this with your parents. Schindler's List, for those of you more experienced people in the audience may have seen that. Like the way I said that, experienced, not old. And then Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. So again, we hope you've enjoyed Varsity Band, and as soon as they're done, we're going to kind of play musical chairs, pardon the pun, and get Contraband up here. So again, this is the John Williams Trilogy. Next up, we have the Southwest Contraband, and they will be performing Jungle Dance.
That was Juggle Dance by Brian Ballmages. Hello, I'm Omar Alonso. I'm the Bay Director at Southwest Junior High along with Mr. Church. And this is the Southwest Junior High Contraband, which meets fourth period at Southwest Junior High. Our next piece is entitled The Seal Lullaby, and it is by Eric Whitaker. It is a special little piece. When Eric Whitacre wrote this piece, he originally got called to write this for a Disney or Pixar film. He was excited. He sent in this idea that he had, and he hadn't heard for a very long time as to if they were going to use his music. And then they told him, oh yeah, we're sorry. We decided to do Kung Fu Panda instead. So instead, they did Kung Fu Panda, but he loved this piece of music so much that he sang it to his little baby boy every time he went to bed. He said that his success rate was less than 50% to put him to bed. So it's a beautiful, beautiful piece, and we are going to play it. We hope you enjoy The Steel Lullaby by Eric Whitacre. Before we perform our last piece, I'd like to give the Directors or Conductors Award for our band. Our 8th grade recipient this year is an outstanding student, very aggressive player. I feel always works very hard and is always ready to go, and always puts forth every effort. And I can't wait to see what this student does next year as a 9th grader. And my award will go to Landis Doty. It's Landon Doty. I know it sounded like an S, but it's Landon Doty. And then my 9th grade award goes to somebody that I've had for 2 years now. She's an amazing student, a very hard worker, and it's amazing to see how much she's grown in the past 2 years. Like, it's a completely different person. Last year, she was great, and this year she has really stepped up as a leader, not just for her section, but for this group. And that award will go to McKenna Macon. Our last piece is a really fun piece. It's Adrenaline Engines. It's one of my favorite pieces, one of their favorite pieces. We hope you enjoy.
For those of you who know anything about music, that first piece called Rhythm Dance is in 5/4 time, which is kind of a challenging type thing to get people to understand because it's not normal. You don't hear too many things on the radio. Those of you that listen to the radio anymore, or any music that most people listen to that are in 5/4 time. But it's a really good rhythmic exercise, and we obviously had to learn how to count really, really good. Before we go to our second selection, I'd like to honor two students. The Director's Award, the 8th grade. There's a couple things about my job I really, really love, and there are a couple things about my job I really, really hate. Tryouts and auditions are kind of on the I don't really like it kind of thing. The other part is giving awards out. You've heard some great players tonight. It's not that I don't like giving awards out, don't take it the wrong way. You've heard some great players tonight, and this group on stage is no different. There are some excellent musicians on here. The bad news is we had to dig out test scores from first semester, all region auditions, Contraband auditions for this year, Contraband auditions for next year, and all kinds of things to try to figure out exactly how these were going to be given out because they're that good and there are that many talented kids in this group. But our 8th grade award goes to Ayani Pineda. And I'll just say ditto to everything I just said. And our 9th grade award goes to Miss Alexia Brito. For those of you that are opera buffs, Giacomo Puccini wrote an opera called Turandot, and our next selection is one of the movements out of that is entitled Nessun Dorma. If you have no idea what I just said, I think you'll recognize the melodic line. I'll be singing that all night. We are, as I said earlier, very blessed with some incredible musicians. We take the bands to concert assessment beginning of March. You never know what's going to happen. Forgot to mention, Contraband had straight ones on their prepared music on the floor. The group on stage right now had straight one ratings on their prepared music on the floor as well as in sight reading. So we've got some great things going on in what I kind of call the HAR-BER cluster again, from Hellstern and Helen Tyson to Central and Southwest and here at HAR-BER as well. We've got a lot of great things, and the future is very, very bright. And something else to try to make sure that everybody understands, when we go to concert assessment at the beginning of March, depending on the level of the group, be it high school wind ensemble, junior high, whatever it happens to be, there's a required list that they have to follow, and everything that you're hearing tonight is 1 or 2 grade levels above where they're expected to be. Now, when I use grade levels, they're only, it's a grading scale of 1 to 6. So what you're hearing tonight is stuff that is way above what they should be doing, and that's okay, because it's good to push them a little bit. We are going to honor our ninth graders this evening, and band is a higher level thinking skill for all kinds of reasons that you don't want me to get into because it'd take too long to explain. But one of the highest levels of thinking that we're going to use tonight is, do they know their ABCs? And we're about to find that out. So ninth graders, wherever you are sitting, if you've paid attention the last 2 days, ready, set, go.
If you stand in front, I got it now. Okay. I'll hand them to you as I read them.
Have you ever heard the expression herding cats? Okay.
You're going to walk this way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. We ask that you please hold your applause to the very end. We're going to do this in a very fast and timely manner. Yanixi Acosta. Alexander Alcala. Mariana Alcala. Alberto Almanza. Jonathan Avalos. Paola Barroso. Magdalena Barroso Martinez. Hunter Bond. Hayden Bursey. Amaya Bravo. Ruby Brinkley. Alexia Brito. Abby Bryan. Liseth Bustamente. Karina Calderon. Drew Casey. Alexis Castillo. Ronald Siciliano. Elizabeth Coronoda. Melanie Cortez. Leira Soledad de la Cruz. Wendy Guadalupe de la Rosa Salas. Arlene Delgado. Emmeline Dewberry. Diego Diaz. Servando Diaz. Davis Doty. Aylid Esparza. Corbin Finstad. Hannah Fisk. Shreya Gandhi. Jasmine Garcia. Nada Garcia. Cassandra Garcia. Jason Gayton. Sergio Gonzalez. Duke Habercorn. Carla Hernandez. Michelle Perez Hernandez.
Do you not know your ABC?
Ismael Hernandez. Brayden Tyler Kirkwood. Yolanda Joash. Jorge Luna. Magdalena Macias. McKenna Macon. Braden Martin. Melanie Martinez. Sean McKim. Manrique Muntufar. Caitlin Mosby. Daniel Medina. Abraham Montoya. Taimi Nasilai. Adriana Noriega. Eileen Ortiz. Caleb Osterman. Avalon Pearson. Brian Pelkey. Natalie Perea. Lupita Peñeda. Jorge Rea. Nelson Roman. Giselle Rosas. Giovanni Salas. Emily Sanabria. Juan Sanchez. Laura Sanchez. Braden Sanford. Jocelyn Segura. Miguel Serratos. Isaac Silvar. Keaton Spell. Gabby Stewart. Carson Taylor. Nick Tibon. Jose Valdez. Isaac Vega. Kimberly Velasquez. Brooke Wages. Brooklyn Ward. Zoe Winfrey. And last but not least, Darian Wright.
If you would at least applaud a little bit longer, they put up with me for 3 years, so give them a round of applause. Okay, guys, if you would, back to your seats. We've got one more song, and then we're done.
Did anybody time that?
If you've ever read Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy, this is a four-movement piece of music, and you need to be sitting there saying, I wonder if they're playing all four movements. We are not. If we were, we'd be here until, I think the news comes on at 10 o'clock. We'd be here probably that long. So we're only doing one movement, but this is the piece called The Ascension. And it seems like last year we talked about good witches and bad witches. Well, this time it's kind of like the same, because it deals with going to purgatory and so on and so on and so on. So I'll spare you this because you've been sitting for a long time. But again, this piece has a few surprises. We have some off-stage brass playing and all kinds of different things. We got a piano behind me and everything. So we hope you enjoy The Ascension from the Divine Comedy. Okay, we can use some help. There is graduation practice in here in the morning. So students, I'm going to remind you of something. I need any student out in the audience or on stage. The stands